Hey everyone, how you going? And yes, our first show back tonight. So, I don't know, am I nervous? I've got butterflies. How about you, James? This is James Cobb.
Oh, I'm a little nervous.
Are you?
It's my first live Facebook video of this sort of length. So yeah, and it's the first time I've been the subject. So.
Yeah, because there's lots of things that you do, isn't there?
Yeah, we do.
Like heaps of community engagement, such as with men's health groups and things like that. Is there like? There's one in particular that I know that it's a walking group that you do on a Thursday night.
Oh, or yeah, a running group.
Running group.
Well,
Okay,
well,
all right,
yeah.
Running. Okay.
Well, there have been known to be some
word.
walkers, but the
Yeah.
goal is to is to have a bit of a run and then have a bit of a catch up and a couple of beers and a chat afterwards. And
So how did that all start?
It started with a few mates of mine. There were four guys I know who are dads at the local Hamilton Public School, and they started a bit of a regular catch up on a Wednesday night. So they'd go for a bit of a run around the racecourse and then go for a beer afterwards. The Wednesdays got switched to a Thursday nights because their wives revolted and started a book club or something like that. So Thursday night ended up being the thing. And then gradually more and more guys from the school just got involved. And what happened fairly early on in the piece is that one of the dads, Michael, was unfortunately diagnosed with cancer, and he passed away a few years ago. So it sort of became a bit of a de facto support group for Mick's mates and also for Mick. You know, he wasn't able to run with us towards the end, but he'd come down to the pub and say good day and we'd have a bit of a catch up there. So from that it sort of just evolved into this pretty organic sort of thing where every year there'd be new dads come to the school, so we'd invite them along and we'd pick up a few new recruits, and now we have probably it might be 20, maybe even more than that, guys who come semi regularly. We might get 2 guys one week, we might get 20 the next, and yeah, it's just.
And is that like a group that, like you feel? I know you feel very strongly about men's mental health and how important it is to talk about certain situations that you're experiencing yourself, or at least just to get it out there. And there's lots of groups, or there's a few groups that one is now I know. Hang on a minute, grabbing something by the balls, like grabbing life by the balls.
Grab life by the balls.
Yeah. So tell us about that. Like.
Well, yeah, I suppose our group was more just it didn't really form with a specific sort of mental health focus, but I know like definitely the guys who are involved, we look to it as a bit of a release. Like I know for me personally, being a small business person, I see my patients all day, every day, but it's quite, your customers aren't always friends, they're not people you socialise with necessarily, and so it can be pretty isolating being in small business in a lot of ways. So for me, that was a really great way of forming a network of guys that I could get to know and spend time with socially. But Grab Life by the Balls is more of it's a movement, I suppose, that a friend of mine in Queensland has put together, which very much does have a very specific focus around men's mental health and giving guys better tools and better ways of talking with each other and communicating what it is they're feeling and knowing that they're not alone and that it's okay to not be okay and all of these things that I think from a young age guys are maybe taught the opposite, that you've got to harden up and you've got to be tough and
don't cry, that sort of thing. You're the man,
exactly, and
you've got to look the part,
and it leads to a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety and obviously things like suicide rates amongst men in Australia are pretty horrific when you stand back and look at the stats. So that's a project that Sam has put together and you'll be chatting to Sam in a few weeks.
Sam Parker, so I'll be interviewing him. So isn't there a hat that you're meant to have on?
Oh yeah.
Let him put the hat on, please.
I don't put the hat on.
Yeah,
so,
right.
You'll be seeing a bit more of this around
That's
our
the
Facebook
project,
page over the next few weeks.
So
we're going to be co-hosting an event with Sam in a few weeks at the Blind Monk, just around the corner.
For those of you or have a lot of international people too. So that's in Newcastle, where we're actually from.
Yeah.
So it's a little place called Hamilton in New South Wales.
Yeah. So Phil, who is the owner of the Blind Monk, he also has a background in men's mental health. So when we approached him about hosting the event, he was very, very supportive, and it's something that we're pretty excited as a practice to be getting behind.
And I believe Total Balance Chiropractic is having a very important birthday.
Yes, yeah. So it's our 10th anniversary coming up in March. So
Yeah, see, that's great when you're in small business. Like if you can make 10 years, like how good's that?
Yeah.
Most people, you can get over the 18 months, 2 years, and you think, oh yeah, well, I've got that far. But I mean, it's hard work, isn't it, having a business?
It is. And I've been enjoyed looking. I look back at the last 10 years and I can't believe how fast it's gone. But it's almost not quite half of my career that I've spent in this practice now, and when I spent some time in the UK before I came back to Australia, and I think looking back, if I had have known, at the time I opened the doors where we were going to be in 10 years' time, I would have been pretty chuffed.
So you would have done it exactly the same way, had you?
Look, I don't know if anyone in small business would look back.
Wow, small business, it's so trying sometimes,
Yeah.
but there's not many of us left. You
Yeah.
know, we are a dying race,
Yeah.
I must say.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to say this little message to everyone out there. If you've got the choice of going to a small business this week to buy something, please do it. How about supporting us little guys? Because, there's lots of the big guys out there. But, as far as the little guys go in small business, it'd be great if you could just go and make a purchase or come and have, your chiropractic work done at a small business. Just something, support us. Just one little thing. That's all I'm asking.
And I think that's one of the things I love about this neighbourhood, this area in Newcastle. Hamilton still does have that little village feel.
Yeah, family business, isn't it?
We've got Beaumont Street with businesses like your business, and the IGAs and institution, and Phil's got the Blind Monk, and there are lots and lots of businesses that are run by families and get really involved in the local community.
And it's a beautiful part of being it, isn't it? Like it's just doesn't feel great to be a part of a network that care about each other.
Yeah.
I just find I noticed the other day Phil, the local florist, I was a bit down on something, and he turned up in the shop with a bunch of flowers.
Yeah.
And said, I've been down just like you, but today I just thought I'd bring you flowers and make you feel fabulous.
Yeah.
Like, how good's that?
Nice. Yeah.
Who does that?
Yeah.
Do they do that in the Commonwealth Bank? No.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry about that. So let's talk about, because I know where, I know it's about people believing in themselves and believing in dreams and really believing in yourself, I think basically is the big thing, isn't it? To create something in your life. And you know what I'm going to say, because I'm going to talk about this little thing that happened to you when you were 11, and I believe there was a time capsule.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us the story of that?
Well, how can I...
Where do you start?
Yeah, where do I start? So, my 21st birthday. Well, if I go back to becoming a chiropractor, so basically I went straight out of Year 12 straight into university. So I was 17 when I left home I'm from Geelong, so I moved to Melbourne for university. So I moved out of home when I was not much older than 17, and I was lucky enough to get into chiropractic the first time I applied, and I knew from pretty early on in high school that was the sort of field I wanted to move towards. I knew I wanted to be involved in healthcare. I knew I wanted to help people. My mum had been a regular chiropractic patient for many, many years. I had an uncle who was a chiropractor who's still in practice in Singleton. So g'day Chris, if you're watching this, a big inspiration of mine, as you know. And so all of my subject selections, and I picked science, biology, and chemistry, and all that sort of stuff. All the prerequisites I knew I'd need to get into chiropractic. So a lot of my mates got to Year 12 and had no idea what they wanted to be, but I knew
It's
that
a big
was...
thing to have to make that decision too at that age,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Because that's the rest of your life.
Yeah, and you know, but having been exposed to chiropractic, having been a chiropractic patient, it made sense, and it was something that I really wanted to do. And so anyway, my 21st rolled around, so I was in fourth year at university, so my second last year of chiropractic training. And around my 21st birthday, Mum handed me this manila envelope which had been sitting in a little filing cabinet in the house for 10 years. So
she's kept it for 10 years.
She kept it for 10 years.
Did you remember, that you
vaguely, I remembered something about it, and but anyway, this manila envelope was a time capsule that I put together as a primary school project when I was 11, and it had written on it in silver text that do not open until, it must have been 1995, yeah, so don't open until 1995, so it was 1985 when I sealed that thing up, and she opened it, so I opened it up and had a look, and there was a picture of me and some other bits and pieces, and a list of, what's your name, what's your favourite footy team, and favourite food and all that sort of stuff, and what do you want to be when you grow up. So this is me as an 11-year-old, and I'd actually written chiropractor.
Wow, did you know how to spell it then?
No, I wrote it with a K. Wrote it with a K. And I'm pretty sure, like, if I could go back in time and ask an 11-year-old me, what does a chiropractor do, I don't think I probably would have been able to give an adequate answer. But I had an uncle who I really liked who had not long graduated as a chiropractor, and I knew that my mum had been helped by chiropractors, so it was obviously something that resonated with me enough at that time to write it down, even though I didn't really know much about it. But over time, it's just it turns out that's
and here you are.
That's what I feel like I was put here to do.
So you said, like, you're saying that your mum was a regular patient of a chiropractor. Yeah. So did she have health issues?
She had a couple of pretty bad car accidents that had created some issues and injuries, and she's still struggles with some back issues at the moment. So
so do you fix her up with that?
Oh, as best I can. Yeah, but she's.
I mean, it's handy to have a chiropractor in the family.
Yeah. Well, it's handy to have her little brother, her big little brother, who's much taller than her, and me for the last few years. But she's at a point where we're talking to a neurologist and things, so it's a bit beyond chiropractic scope these days. But it certainly gave her a lot of relief over many years.
So it was your uncle that inspired you?
Yeah, probably he was my mum.
So were you close to him, like, growing up?
Tyranny of distance. Like, he lived in he grew up in Albury and I grew up in Geelong, and he went to uni in Melbourne and then moved up here not long after. But we kept in regular touch all the way through my uni. I'd come up and visit summer breaks and observe in the practice and generally hang around. And my first year out of uni, I worked for Chris for a year. That's how I came to be in Newcastle. Actually, I lived here for about 12 months after I graduated, and lived in Newcastle and worked for Chris out in East Mainland and Singleton. And they just decided that my girlfriend was more important, so I moved back down to Melbourne, and that turned out to be a pretty good decision. Because she's now my wife.
I was waiting for that. I thought for sure she'd have to be your wife.
It was a pretty good call. I think even Chris would agree. But he's definitely been a big influence on my career, and a mentor of mine, and someone I've always.
So did you ever not want to be a chiropractor? Did you ever look at something else and say, I wouldn't mind doing that?
I think I went through a phase, maybe like year 10, year 11, where I thought, maybe I wouldn't mind being like an Air Force pilot. And
I think every boy has that,
my eyes weren't that great, and I thought, maybe navigator, but then, just never really.
You have a little chuckle in the audience there.
Yeah. Me in the military would have been interesting. No, I can't. Well, looking back from where I am now, I can't think back and think of a time where I was seriously pursuing anything about chiropractic.
That's fabulous. So, to me, the message there is that's something that you believed in and you looked at doing at a young age. You obviously had that in you, and you had your uncle who you were kind of in tune with. So, to me, it's like, I say, well, you've believed in your dreams and you've pursued that until today or when you became a chiropractor. So would you say, like, to people it's about, you know, never giving up on that dream? Like, is it about, like, what worked for you? Is it about wanting that so bad that you're just going to go and get it? Or is it about believing in what you want to do? Or is it about just don't give up on your dream? If you've got a dream, don't give up on it.
Look, it's honestly, it's the first thing I would say is have a crack. Like, have a crack. I when I got to uni, you know, I was really young. I was probably the third youngest person in my year level. We had guys in my year level who were mature age students in their 30s. You know, we had one of my classmates who was a practicing solicitor who decided to give up on the law and go back to uni and train as a chiropractor.
That's massive, isn't it?
We had PhDs. We had guys with masters in science, and I felt really intimidated. You know, I felt like I'd just sort of scraped into this course by the skin of my teeth, looking around these guys, and I spent my first semester convinced I was going to fail. I just thought, there's no way I can match it with these guys. I'm kidding myself. And I think, you know, that's probably something that Sam's going to touch on, is our negative self-talk. If we let it get hold of us, you know, we become our own worst critic, and we often destroy our own potential from the inside out if we're too negative about it. And so I really struggled through that first semester. Again, being 17, all my classmates were all overage. They could go out to the pub and they could socialise, but I really couldn't socialise with my classmates outside of uni, because I wasn't old enough to go for a beer after uni and all that sort of stuff.
A lot of people wouldn't let that worry them, but you know.
Well, this was at the edge of.
It wasn't Killing Man; it was James Cobb.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, you know, I wouldn't have. You know, fake IDs and things were getting passed around, but they were getting a bit more strict on them.
Yeah.
So that was I look back on that as probably the toughest 6 months of my. Well, I don't know. Maybe I've had some tougher times since, but that was a really tough time for me. And it wasn't until I still remember we had an exam that was about 2/3 of the way through first semester, and it was a pretty major one. It was a spinal anatomy exam, and anyway, I sat the exam and I thought, I think I've maybe scraped a pass, and I wasn't that happy with how I'd gone. But we were checking the marks, and one of the guys who I mentioned who had a master's degree, he was always talking about his master's in science and what he'd done for his honours and da-da-da. And I thought, this guy's super intelligent. I beat him by five marks.
Wow!
And it was at that point that I was like, right, okay, if he's really struggling with this, it's okay that I'm struggling with it, that's fine, you can do this, you can get through it, but you just got to keep your head down and your bum up. And so that's what I did for the next 5 years.
And not give up, basically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, there'd be people out there that are, you know, soon to go through uni, like maybe they're just starting or they're on their second year or third year, but, you know, it is about just believing enough in yourself to keep going, and like you say, the negative talk, you know, self-talk, negative talk is just not a good thing. Try and, you know, digress from that and go into a more positive role, or hang out with people that are very positive.
Yeah, and absolutely, and look, I still struggle with that to this day. Like, I think, you know, I'm definitely my own worst enemy, and I definitely get in my head too much, and you know, and get down on myself too much, and I think having a bunch of mates around that I can call on and that I can hang out with, and that I can just talk crap to, and you know, and then, you know, from a professional point of view, catching up with peers at seminars and my classmates, and you know, realising that none of us have this perfect life that we all dream of. You know, all of us have our challenges, and that's okay, and that you know, that there are people out there who would do anything to support you through the tough times. You just got to you know, get out of your own head.
And link up with those people.
Yeah,
and I mean, if those people aren't in your life, you know, perhaps like you have got a lot of negative role models in your life, it's time to make new friends, wouldn't you think? And maybe look at, you know, organisations or groups such as you've got with your walking group, Like is
Running group. It's a running group. We run, Kelly.
you know, like I'm just, you know.
The guys would be livid if we called it a running group.
Like, no, what do you mean, walking group?
Oh, walking group, sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
see, there you go.
Yeah, you
I'm
got
not
me
my
doing it now.
mistake. Look, I am really sorry about that, and I know it's a running group,
Yeah.
and I apologise for
It's
that.
the hard as running group, Hamilton running dads.
It's just that Hamilton running dads.
Yeah.
Right, got to get that right. Hamilton running dads.
Yes,
It's just that I can't run because of my injury, so, you know, everything's a walk
Well,
to
we've got
me.
a couple of guys who aren't runners who can't, like we've got one guy who's had a pretty major foot injury as well, and a
Yeah.
couple with some creaky knees. So there's a cycling splinter group. So they'll go off and they'll go for a ride on the family track, and then but then we all, the key thing is it's it's all about the socialising and having a chin wag afterwards. So
Yeah, and do you
we'll
all
meet-
kind of rally together when there's someone that's having a bit of a situation? Is that
Oh,
what
yeah,
it's all about?
sure,
So
sure, yeah,
if someone's
absolutely.
having a bit of a downtime or things not working out for them, you rally around that person
Absolutely.
and support them. So that's what it's about. So, I mean, the thing is, anyone can start that sort of a group. You know, it doesn't have to be a running group, it doesn't have to be a walking group, it doesn't have to be a bike group or anything like that. You can start doing that by just maybe, how did it all start? Like, were you the instigator for it or the running group?
No, not at all. No, I came along. I think the guys have been doing it for probably a year or more before I'd heard about it. But I think they just decided that they wanted to get fit, and they wanted to. I think a couple of them were maybe training for the first Tough Mudder. So this was quite a few years ago now. And then they just decided that going for a regular run would be a good idea. And it sort of just morphed out of that. A couple of people sort of joined on, and word spread, and more people got invited. And I was probably in the second generation of guys to join it, but no, it wasn't.
But you're in it, and that's the main thing.
Yeah.
And you're there to support others.
Absolutely.
As well as, taking the opportunity of, I guess it's really important too, it's great to be in these sort of groups, but also the fact of taking the opportunity to talk to someone yourself or feel comfortable enough to let whatever problem that you've got, amongst the group so that you can get help, because that's really important. So we touched on a birthday for the business.
Yes.
Because, I want to let everybody know that you're having, I hope you've got enough sausages if I tell them what date it is.
Yeah, I haven't put the order in yet, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're having
We'd like to put in a big order for sausages.
yeah, right. So they're having a big barbecue. Is that right?
Yes.
It is barbecue.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't want to get running and walking and barbecues and, takeaways and stuff like that all mixed up. So it's a barbecue.
Yep.
And it's your 10th anniversary, and it's in March 24th.
Saturday the 9th of March.
Oh, Saturday the 9th of March,
Yeah,
right?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, so if you want people to come along and come and meet, because now that you've done the show, a lot of people would like that connection with you and think, well, geez, I need to, and I'll tell you, I am a patient, and I can say to you, I've been at a stage where I couldn't even walk correctly, and I've come in here and I felt fantastic. So, I've been coming here for a little while, and I can say to you, if you've never had an adjustment before, come and have one, because it's just so amazing. You walk better, you breathe better, you stand better. It's, was an ad.
No.
It wasn't meant to be an ad. It wasn't meant to be an ad, right?
As a registered health professional, I'm not allowed to utilise testimonials. I would just like to state that for the record, but
This is
thanks,
me
mate.
talking to you and how great I have felt, and it's certainly changed my way of life in so many ways. So what date was that again?
9th of March.
9th of March?
Yeah, 9th of March. Yeah.
And
Yep.
is it an afternoon?
So it's going to be an open day. So we're going to be basically opening the doors to the public from about 10:30 in the morning till early afternoon. We're going to have a sausage sizzle. We're going to have some other fun activities that we're working. They're in the planning stages yet, but it's basically just going to be a fun open house day where the doors will be open. People can come in, have a chat. We'll be doing some complimentary spinal checks. Just talking a little bit about the sort of specific type of chiropractic that we practice here, because the technique we use is a little bit different to most other chiropractors, and just using the opportunity to give back to the community that's given us so much.
Do they have to register to come here?
No,
or?
it'll be just an open
Alright, so we
day,
haven't given them an address, and people have got to know where to come to, and this
Okay.
is not an ad, alright?
So we're at Total Balance Chiropractic. We're at Unit 258 Lindsay Street. So
In Hamilton, New South Wales.
So if you know Hamilton, we're about 50 metres back off Beaumont Street, just back from Guzman y Gomez, the Mexican restaurant, Gin Lodging. So,
say that quickly.
10 times fast. Yeah, so we'll be just throwing the doors open and we'll just be having a chin wag.
You know, and if you've never been to a chiropractor before, just come and have a chat to them
Absolutely.
and just see what they can do for you, because you know it's quite an amazing service, let me tell you. So the other thing that I didn't touch on, that I just wanted to touch on very quickly, was I've heard that you do something at the Hamilton Primary School that I found quite intriguing, because it's about, is it not about talking about ethics?
Yeah, well,
with young children, is that what?
Well, again, this was something that sort of came out of the running group, because most of the guys in the group have kids or had kids who went through Hamilton Public School, and a lot of the dads volunteer on a regular basis at the school. We've actually had a couple of working bees where we've built a whole bunch of picnic tables for the school that they use as part of their outdoor education thing. So we like to get a bit hands-on and help out where we can. And one of the guys whose son was finishing up at the school was a volunteer ethics teacher, and I'd heard a bit about the ethics program. And
I've never even heard of it.
So primary ethics is a program that was started in New South Wales in 2011 as a non-religious alternative to scripture education. So
okay, I get it now.
Yeah, so scripture has had a place in the New South Wales curriculum since the 1800s, and not all parents are religious, so not all parents like to enrol their kids in scripture. But up until 2011, there was really no alternative. The kids either did scripture or they did what they call non-scripture, which is basically just in the library.
Sit there and eat your lunch early.
Yeah, something. Yeah, they weren't allowed to do any academic work that would give them an advantage over their peers. So high school kids couldn't do their homework because that gave them an unfair advantage over the kids who were having scripture. So it was a project that took a long time to get off the ground. There were a lot of volunteers who developed the curriculum, but basically it's a volunteer-run program that's available to New South Wales school kids, where instead of having a half hour of religious education, we have a half hour chat about all kinds of ethical dilemmas and
really? That's
we
great.
talk about problem solving, and we talk about what it's like to, what does it mean to be a good friend, and is it ever okay to lie, and so I'm having conversations with year 2 kids about times when it might be okay to tell a white lie and what's the difference.
And some of
the conversations we have are amazing, and it's just great fun. It's not a class where I get up and teach. It's a class where I probably do what you're doing. I sit there and I facilitate a conversation amongst the kids themselves, and they're talking to each other, not to me.
And do they have this at most schools?
It's volunteer based, so it's all schools have the ability to run ethics classes, but they might not have the resources, they might not have the volunteers, they might not have the bodies on the ground to be able to run it. So
we've got to promote that, because if you want
Absolutely.
to be a part of it, I think it's a wonderful idea.
Most of our teachers are, volunteer teachers are parents at the school, but we also have, again, some fantastic local community members. We've got one lady who's a part-time teacher, but she likes it's just a part of her passion to do ethics classes. I know we've had grandparents in the past, or just people in the local community who want to engage with the school in a positive way. Being an ethics teacher is a fantastic way to do that. So up until last year, I was the coordinator of the program in Hamilton. I'm not any longer, but if anyone wants to find out more about it, they can look up the Primary Ethics website, or they can get in touch with me, and I'll happily.
Okay, well there you go. Like if you want to do something like that in your local school, just contact James or look up on the website, and maybe you could assist your local community and do something worthwhile, which I think it's a great program. So, like we could talk all night.
Yep.
I mean, I could anyway. Like,
It's gone.
you
Half
know,
an hour's gone
you
already.
know me. See, I said it'd go fast. So, what I do with each one of my participants at the end of every show, I ask you, if there was someone out there, just say there's someone watching this show right now, and maybe they're pretty down in the dumps, they've had a bit of a hard fall in life, and you know, just say it's a guy sitting at home now, he's had a bit of a hard trot, he hasn't really got mates, or, you know, like what message of hope would you give someone like that?
I would just say that just always remember that it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to be down. It's not a fault to feel depressed or to feel anxious or vulnerable, and to talk to someone about it. You know, I've had times in my life where I've felt pretty down. I've felt pretty isolated. I've had some professional help. You know, when I've talked through some things, and right from the very first moment that I had the very first conversation with my wife that I think I need to talk to someone about this, a load started to lift. You know, just sharing that with her, and then talking to my GP, and then you know, talking to professionals, and you know, talking to my mates. You know, just from a problem shared is a problem halved. You know, and you know, even if you don't have a social network that can do that for you, you know, there are services out there that are available. Where you can just talk to people, just get it off your chest, and realise that you're not alone. Like, that's the biggest thing, is you just feel this isolation.
And you've been through that yourself, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
So you know what it's like,
exactly.
and you know how empowering it is also to share it.
Yeah.
Like, and to get help. You
Well,
know.
I wouldn't even necessarily use the word. Well, I suppose it is empowering. It's just, you know, you feel that load lift, and there are times where you just feel like the whole world's against you, and the weight of the world's on your shoulders, and there's no way out of this, and there is. You've just got to start the conversation with someone.
So that's it. That's what we're saying today. We're going to say start the conversation. James, could you grab that bit of paper to your right? Exit stage right. Sorry, it's not very professional, but this is the way we've got to do it tonight, because I'm not seeing too well at the moment. So if my darling producer over there, MJ, just holds it up, I'd be like squinting like crazy. So forgive me. So this is the way we're doing it tonight. So we're going to say some Cheerios to all those beautiful viewers out there that each and every week are supporting my dream. You know, I mean, that's quite unbelievable for me to think that I've been going now for a year, and things are going, we're on our way to 100 shows, like we're in the 60s now. So, you know, I just want to say a very big thank you for all those beautiful people that sit there every single week and watch my show. That is just amazing. Sharing it, talking about it, and it's certainly growing now, and thank you so much for doing that. So I'd like to thank Shireen Smith, who I believe...
I'd also like to thank Shireen Smith. Who, she knows, she's watching. I wouldn't be sitting here if Shireen hadn't teed it up. Amazing.
Yeah, God love her. Bless you, Shireen Smith. And Denise Martin. Thank you so much, Denise. Shireen Lowe. Oh, look, I tell you, Brisbane girl, every single week I see your name, and Larry Lowe. Like, I just think it's just amazing. I don't think you've ever missed a show. Thank you so much. It's people like you that keep me going and keep me striving. And we've got Sharon Sharp. Thank you, Sharon. You're there every week too. Margaret Moffat. Thank you so much, Margaret. We've got Kim Price. Thank you. Ellen Morris. Thank you, Ellen. Cherie Jones. Sarah Lang. Thank you, Sarah. I have asked Sarah once before to come on the show, and let's just say there's a little opening for you whenever you're ready, darling. That's all I can say. Yeah, so we've got Carolyn Finley. We've got Louise Melrose Henley. Thank you, Louise. You're always there as well. Chris Rourke, thank you. And Chris, I know you're coming on the show very, very soon. So thanks for watching. It's not so bad, is it, being on the show?
No.
Like, it's just a breeze, isn't it?
Like that.
Yeah, just like that, Chris. Like, trust me on that. Trust him on that, because he's telling you that it's okay. You're going to be okay. We've got Kelly Screen and Shay Rogers. Thank you so much, Shay. And Peter Cobb.
Dad.
Oh, Dad, is that Dad?
It's past your bedtime, Pete. No, I would like to actually give a big shout out to my dad, Pete Cobb. It was his 70th birthday last week.
Oh, cool. Yay, for making 70. Look, I want to make 70.
I wouldn't be here without you either. So
no, that's right. Thank you, because I wouldn't be here either without you being here. And yeah, all that stuff. So, and Gavin Scott, thank you, Gavin Scott. Like, God bless you, one of the most incredible musos, and is always the party singer at all our parties. So God bless you, Gavin Scott, for the wonderful work that you do in communities as well. And, you know, I just want to say thank you to everyone that I didn't even write the names down. So thanks for being there, thanks for being a part of what I do, and thanks for caring enough to watch each and every week. I love you all. Thank you so much, and no matter what, you're going to be okay. Bye for now, everyone.